welcome to Mia's Stories. Make sure to subscribe to never miss an update, and a lucky chance to video chat with me. Michael, or Mike as he was known to his friends, was a closeted femboy. He had been hiding his true self for years, afraid of what others would think if they knew he liked to wear dresses and makeup. But one day, while cleaning out his old room, he stumbled upon an old diary that changed everything. Mike had kept a diary since he was a young boy, documenting his thoughts and feelings as he grew up. But as he flipped through the pages, he noticed something different about this particular entry. It was dated back to when he was in high school, and it detailed a secret he had been keeping from everyone around him. He read on with increasing interest, feeling a rush of emotions as he realized how far he had come since then. The diary entry began with Mike writing about how he had always felt different from other boys. He enjoyed playing with dolls and wearing his sister's clothes, but he knew that he couldn't express these desires openly. He wrote about how he would sneak into his sister's room and steal her clothes, feeling a rush of excitement every time he put on something new. He would even go so far as to wear them in public, hiding in the shadows until he could make his way back home. But as he grew older, Mike began to realize that he couldn't keep living this way. He knew that if he came out as a femboy, he would be ostracized by his friends and family. So he continued to hide his true self, even as he felt more and more isolated. The diary entry continued with Mike writing about his feist crush on a boy in his class. He was so infatuated with him that he couldn't focus on anything else, but he knew that he couldn't express his feelings. So he continued to keep it all bottled up inside, feeling more and more alone as the years went by. As he read on, Mike began to realize that he needed to make a change. He couldn't keep living this way, always hiding who he really was. So he decided to take a chance and come out to his closest friends. At first, they were shocked. They couldn't believe that their friend had been keeping such a big secret from them. But as Mike explained more about what it meant to be a femboy, they began to understand. They were supportive and encouraged him to express himself however he wanted, without fear of judgment. With their support, Mike began to experiment with his appearance, wearing dresses and makeup in public. At first, he was nervous, but he quickly realized that he had nothing to worry about. People were curious, but they were mostly accepting and supportive. As he continued to express himself, Mike felt a weight lifted off his shoulders. He was finally able to be his true self, without fear of judgment or rejection. He knew that it wouldn't be easy, but he was willing to take the risk. Mike's journey as a closeted femboy was not an easy one. He had always felt different from other boys, but he never imagined that he would have to hide his true self for so long. However, as he read through his old diary, he realized that he had come a long way since then. After coming out to his closest friends, Mike began to experiment with his appearance. He wore dresses and makeup in public, feeling a rush of excitement every time he did so. He was surprised by how supportive people were, even if they were curious about his new look. As time went on, Mike became more confident in his femboy identity. He started to attend LGBTQ events and meet other people who shared his interests. He even started to date other femboys, finding a sense of community and acceptance that he had never experienced before. However, Mike still struggled with his family's reaction to his newfound identity. His parents were initially shocked and disappointed, but they eventually came around. They still had their reservations, but they knew that they couldn't change who their son was. Mike's siblings, on the other hand, were more accepting. His older sister had always known that he was different, and she was proud of him for finally being true to himself. His younger brother was a bit more hesitant at first, but he eventually warmed up to the idea. Despite the challenges, Mike continued to embrace his femboy identity. He started to create content on social media, sharing his journey with others who might be going through the same thing. He even started to make money from his videos and photos, feeling a sense of financial freedom that he had never experienced before. However, as Mike's online presence grew, he began to receive negative comments and messages from trolls. They would call him names and tell him that he was wrong for being a femboy. It was a tough time for Mike, but he knew that he couldn't let them bring him down. Instead, Mike used the negative comments as motivation to keep pushing forward. He knew that there were people out there who supported him, and he refused to let the haters win. He continued to create content and engage with his followers, building a community of acceptance and support. As time went on, Mike became a well-known figure in the femboy community. He was invited to speak at LGBTQ events and attend fashion shows, feeling a sense of pride and accomplishment. He knew that he had come a long way since that day in high school, and he was grateful for every moment. Despite the challenges, Mike continued to embrace his femboy identity. He knew that it wasn't always easy, but he also knew that it was worth it. He had finally found the courage to be himself, and he wouldn't change a thing. If you enjoyed the story and want to show your support, please leave a like and subscribe to my channel. Also, for every comment with 69, you could have a chance to video chat with me. Thanks for your time.